Good everyone, today's video, and today it's a review on the Pyorremyrsky. Apparently, according to Matty Renago, I just said it rather right compared to something else that I might say, like, I don't know, Pyorremyrsky or something like that. I actually got it pretty much on point, so I'm pretty happy with myself for that. So the Pyorremyrsky has actually gone up and they've received some changes since I did the first flight video. Obviously, those changes had already happened by the time the first flight came out. It's just it was a bit delayed. So what are those changes? Well, first of all, it's gone back up. Well, it's gone up to rank 3, which I think is a perfectly valid move. And also, it's received its bombs, which I mentioned I think I mentioned it at least in the first flight. Obviously, you get 450 kilo bombs and 100 kilo bombs. Personally, don't take bombs in ARB. You'll look like an idiot. If you are going to take the bombs, I'd take the 50s because they're lighter. So the Pyorremyrsky also has a unique ability which not many planes in War Thunder actually do, except for bombers and attackers. Those bombs actually drop as singles, which is unusual. You don't tend to see that. Now, I've tried to look up if this is historically accurate, and I've been unable to do so. I really couldn't find anything on this aircraft apart from it had a first flight and everything, all that jazz. But I just couldn't find anything on this aircraft that would says to me that that is historically accurate. So you never know, they might change it and you'll end up dropping as pairs. But less about a pointless thing like bombs. Let's go into the performance of the plane. If you saw the first flight, you saw this thing climb like a rocket, and well, it does climb like a freaking rocket. The turn rate is actually pretty good. It will match 109s. It can actually keep up with yaks in the turn, and it's very nice to fly. It's got good controllability up until around 400 miles an hour, about 440 roughly, and that's when it starts to lock up. So you're gonna have to watch that. I did have one death because of that, because I didn't know when this thing locks up, and I pushed it too far, and obviously it locked up and crashed. Even though I was close to pulling out a dive, to be honest. The other deaths that happened, which were very few, were because of teams. I had very few defeats, and well, the only times I died were when my teams were completely useless. So, what are the guns? Well, obviously, I mentioned them in the first flight. I'm going to mention them here anyway. Two 12.7mm LKK machine guns with 600 rounds. Apparently, those things are meant to have an 1100 rounds a minute fire rate, which I think is insane. But personally, I don't think they're needed. I don't think those sorts of gun rate of fire is really needed. Yes, it'd be a nice change for historical reasons, but I don't think it's needed per se. Then obviously you get the 20mm MG151 in the propeller hub, similar to how you would in a 109G, F, or even a K if you go that far up the line. Now, in terms of performance, this aircraft seems to have very similar performance to a 19G2 Trop, or at least a standard G2. Feels very similar to them. However, a skilled pilot in a Pyorremyrsky can give a German team a black eye. Let's just say this thing is very good, and I do have to say that it is really good. So, let's have a look at the stats of the aircraft, and you're going to see what I mean. So, 37 victories, 41 battles, 90% win rate. I had very few defeats, and even then, most of them were down to my team completely sucking. 49 respawns, because obviously I sometimes jade out on the runway and put bombs on. 3 deaths, 73 kills, 321 ground targets. If there's one thing that Pyorremyrsky can do once your team is, well, has your team's cleaned up, it's derp. This thing can derp rather well. The 20mm is good for all soft targets, the 50 cals can punch through pillboxes, and the bombs can do the same thing. And I had a lot of fun playing this aircraft. It was probably one of my favorite premium planes that I've ever had because of it. And there's the bombs, by the way. Obviously, the 100 kilos are quite heavy for the wings, so you will feel a dramatic difference in climb rates. So I do not recommend carrying bombs unless you absolutely have to. But anyway, let's jump into the battle and let's have a look at what I got to in the Pyorremyrsky. Now I could have used one of the other battles. However, I could have shown you my 6 kill game that I had in this thing, but I thought I'll just show you plain in the middle so you can get a rough idea of what I had on average in this aircraft. So I don't remember if I was carrying bombs in this battle. I don't think I was, if I remember rightly. It's been a while since I looked at this one. So obviously I remember the map. It's Calkin Goal, but I don't remember this battle at all. I'll do my best. Is all I'll say. I'll do my best. But obviously it gets up to speed nicely on the runway, and well, even though it's on 4 times speed, this thing's just gonna shoot up into the sky even if I put it at 1 times. My recommended climb angle is 20 degrees on WEP, 15 degree off WEP, and I mean you could probably push it to 25, but to be brutally honest, I don't advise 25 because you'll put too much pressure on your engine, and well, you sort of need that. So I believe this is the battle where I actually tried to help out a pilot. I think it's that TTS Hood in that Yak 3. I honestly can't remember this battle all that well, but I think it's him, or like he's related to this battle if I remember rightly. So obviously I'm climbing up, and obviously the team's not getting off to a great start. I mean, we've already lost a B-25, we've lost a PEA, and we've only shot down a single Dark. So, just to get you up to speed here, a BV-23 obviously has seen me and he's turned away, like he should. He shouldn't really try to stay level when obviously I'm nearby and everything. So he decides to turn away, and I just thought, right, well I'm not engaging the rear section of a BV, so there's no point. So, what I'd like to point out at this point, there's a 110G and a 109 beneath me. Now, I was thinking about killing the 110 first, which I eventually... I go for the 110 first, which, to be honest, was a bit of a misplay by me, if you want to be brutally honest. But obviously, now that I've done so, I have the energy advantage over this 109. And well, because you have the same engine as a 109G, this thing pulls. So obviously, I'm just bringing the plane over here, and obviously... Here's the Yak pilot. Now bear in mind, I had this conflict completely under control and he was dealing with a 0. So what does he do? He breaks off the 0. We all know what a 0 can do. And comes in to basically... Yes, I technically baited for him. But this guy should have dealt with that 0. There was an A6M3 Mod 22. Which is a very good aircraft in the right hands. And he decides to break off those. Bear in mind, look at our team list. He decides to break off them and take that 109. See, look, I put in chat, had that under control, Yak 3, other teammates needed assistance, which I did. He did not have to engage. He had every option. And he just puts in chat, yeah, like he knew what I was implying, but quite clearly it's just gone in one side and gone out the other. And look at that team. We're down to that Yak 3 and, well, me and the other Yak 3 who was completely being an idiot. I put in chat, mistakes like that cost us planes. I now fully remember this battle. But Watermelon's there like, I always get fucking noobs and people to the club. Is all I'll say. And well, there goes the Yak 3 pulling a vertical against a 192 Trop. Why would you ever think that was smart? Second kill for me, because the 110 crashed. Just to inform you, the 110 actually crashed. But you can see, obviously, I'm going back for altitude, which this thing does very well. But that Yak 3 player has cost us a load of planes, which we could have had teammates in this battle. We could have had more teammates. But I'm sorry, I'm going to have to point the finger at that Yak. I think I scored a crit there, if I remember rightly. Yeah, scored a crit on him. Obviously, because I know a 205 will outturn me, I decided to pull it into the vertical. But like I say, the mistake of this Yak 3 pilot cost us, what, 3 planes? which we could have used. I mean, fair enough, we managed to kill the 205, and it's now down to those 2 BBs and a 0. But that was a big mistake on the Yak's part. I had that perfectly under control, and he came in and did that. We lost a few planes because of that mistake. And I noticed a lot of players making those sorts of mistakes. Obviously, as you can tell at the time of this battle, I didn't have the UK flag on the back, and I didn't have Friday the 13th on the nose where obviously the guns are. But I was just that annoyed at that Yak 3 for doing that, because we could have had more teammates. Watermelon maybe could have been saved. The other Yak 3 could have been saved, potentially. And it just annoys me that that Yak 3 pilot thought that was the best move by leaving an A6M3 to rip our team apart. Fair enough, the A6M3 soon died, but that doesn't matter. That was the wrong call, and the wrong call cost us planes. We was lucky to actually get out that situation. But I'm just saying. So, obviously at this point I'm actually quite good on ammo. So, the guys there are saying you should go to rearm. I think he knows about the Pyorremyrsky in terms of its ammo load. I have half my cannon approximately and about 3/4 of my MG left, so it's perfectly fine. I can work with that. I don't need to rearm yet. So what I was thinking at this point is that I'm thinking, should I just let the Yak 3 go first and engage the BVs, or stay near the BVs, and I'll go hit ground targets? Because, well, I was actually grinding the Swedish tech tree using this aircraft at the time. And I was thinking, should I kill the 0 first and then go and engage ground targets, or go and engage ground targets now and let the Yak deal with the 0? Due to the recent Yak players' thought process, I decided to go with the first option. Deal with the 0 first and then go for the ground targets. Because I don't really want to engage BV in this thing. Much like I don't like engaging 264s in this thing. In fact, I only did it once, and even then, the BV crit my engine and I had to glide back to base. I say to him, I climb better, I'll engage. Because, well, this thing is a rocket compared to a Yak 3. So obviously I'm moving it on to 0, and you can see the Yak 3 still following me down. Even though I said I would engage the plane. I would engage the 0. This is just more misplay by him. And I hope, TTS Hood, if you somehow watch this video, mate, please, don't take it in the wrong way. But you really need to learn when to engage and when not to engage. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Fair enough, he's reclimbed now. But, just, nah. So there's my third and final kill for the game. And, well, I say to him, you keep an eye out, I'll kill tanks. Because, well, we need to force the BVs to come out of hiding. Because, well, there's one BV that's going in for a landing, and there's one BV that's already landed, and is currently circling the airfield to camp the runway, because there's always some scumbag like that in there. Well, that B-47 was chatting shit a little bit, because I mentioned that in the chat. Because, like, he could have gained altitude, but no, he was on the deck engaging a duck. He didn't get a kill on the duck, but he was still engaging the duck. And I had to check the replay, and all of his kills were head-ons. Great job. That really helps the team, don't it? And of course, typical arsehole player, he blames the team. Like, I'm not being funny, if I make a mistake and I die, I blame myself. But if it's a situation where my team could have helped, I blame the team, yes. But I don't blame the team for my own mistakes. No chance. There ain't no mistake that I'm blaming myself on. Well, blaming the team on if I make it. That's for definite. But anyway, so the 50 cals are perfectly capable of popping a light tank. They are very good, in fact, at doing that job. And the 20mm can even do that. Now, if you're going to attack ground targets with the 20mm, such as a light tank or a light pillbox, I'm going to make a bit of a daft suggestion to you. Try universal in the 20mm. I know that seems a bit dumb, but trust me. Armored targets can do it as well, however, pure APHE, if you need to use it against a plane, it's borderline useless. But what I'm trying to say is that the 20mm can also be used against ground targets, and there you go. I was actually running universal in this battle just to try it out. And to be honest, it worked actually really nicely. I've got to say that. You still get a good amount of meaningless shots, so if you do need to engage a plane, you can still kill it. You get API, you get, I think you get an APHE round, but it's a good belt mix, and it's perfectly adequate for what you would be doing. Now at this point, I was confused whether to engage the AA gun, which can actually do some pretty good damage to your plane, or continue engaging the tanks. As you can see, I'm firing in selective bursts. I'm not being too over the top on my trigger discipline here. And I'm just there like, obviously, looping around and just using the excellent controllability of this aircraft to just ground pound. And well, because of me ground attacking, we're actually going to win this game actually rather early, because it turns out the BVs were, well, they dropped their bombs, and well, they're camping the runway. So now the Act 3 pilot makes a comment there in chat. He's saying about the BVs already being dead if he had 2 cannon, not with a Spitfire, pal. I'm just going to jump ahead, just to speed us along a little bit. But obviously we all know that Pyorremyrsky is absolutely great. I've really enjoyed playing it. And to be honest, it's one of the best planes I've ever flown in War Thunder, and that's coming from me. And I know Matty Ranico is going to be over this video like a plague, but trust me, mate, it's probably one of the best planes I've ever flown. And well, I'm going to leave it here, because, well, not much else happens from this point on. I kill that pillbox, and then I return to base, and we win. So like I say, the Pyorremyrsky is a very good option to pick. I mean, it was £70.10 when I bought it on Steam, and well, it's worth every penny. That's all I'll say. But anyway, I'll let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Pyorremyrsky, and I will see you all on the next one.